Hello. So this story I'm still formulating in my head. I actually literally just put the entry in there, so that was a little fishy, but that's all right. I saw you digging for it, which is why it was even more fishy. So the title of this story is Thanksgiving. So I'm going to take you back to a time in the early 90s, 1993. I was in third grade. It was a different time, pre-9/11, if you know what I mean. You don't yet, because I haven't even told you what the story is about, but that's okay. So let me start off by saying I scored really high on all of my tests with analogies. I'm really good at making things relate to one another, which is very confusing for daily life because so many things that to normal people would not be related to me are very related. So what that means is somebody's like, hey, you should do this. And I'm like, cool. And then I do something the opposite. And they're like, what the fuck are you thinking? And then in my head, I'm like, they're totally related. What are you talking about? So in 1993, I was in third grade. I was in elementary school. And I was in it was a Thanksgiving play. And our teacher said, hey, look, everybody, gather around. We're going to do a Thanksgiving play, and it involves, American Indians and the Americans. And what I need everybody to do is go home and get a bunch of, Nerf guns and shit. Just, bring something in to, point at the Indians. Nowadays, that's, crazy, right? So I'm like, all right, cool. She's like, literally, go get, Nerf guns and water guns and, bring them into school. It's like, okay, great. That's fine. So I have a Nerf gun, but I think my sister was using it or something. So I've got this other friend of mine, and he's he's the shady hookup friend. And so, of third grade, which means he rides a BMX and does ramps and stuff. And so I'm we always walk home, and I'm like, hey man, I'm supposed to bring a water gun or a Nerf gun to school tomorrow for this Thanksgiving play. I've been putting it off, And he's like, oh dude, I can hook you up, man. It's totally cool. My dad's got something. I'm like, oh cool, thanks. That's sweet. But only if I show up tomorrow without a Nerf gun. And he's like, yeah, man, totally, I got your back. So I go home, running for everything. My sister must have, the Nerf gun, so I come up empty-handed. I'm probably also, playing Super Mario Brothers, so not totally on target with this thing. So we walk to school the next morning, and I wake up oh, man, I totally forgot to get that Nerf gun. So that's cool. My buddy said he'd hook me up. It's fine. So I'm, walking to school, show up to his house. I'm like, look, I don't want to be the guy without a Nerf gun. That'd be really weird. I got point my fingers or something. And he's like, yeah, man, check it out. And so he goes inside and brings out this pellet gun from his dad. He's like, yeah, man, you said air gun, right? And I'm like, meanwhile, in my mind, I'm like, oh, I totally see how those are related. Maybe the teacher will be fine with this. That's, no big deal. And then also, the other part is I'm super courteous. And I'm like, that's so nice of you to think of me. Thank you so much. And so I grabbed this pellet gun, and I'm just walking to school with it. So we get to school, and I've got I'm slinged across my back, it's for the Thanksgiving play. It's fine, no big deal. So I get into so I get in there, and I walk up into the classroom, and I've got this, I put it in my locker or whatever. I don't even remember what you did at third grade. I probably put it under my chair, or tried to shove it in my desk or something. And the teacher is like, what the fuck is this? What are you doing? And so I'm sitting there in class, and over the PA, it's Blaine Booher, please come to the principal's office. And I remember specifically, because you're trying to impress the third grade ladies, I'm like, oh, I think I know what this is about. And so I go down to the principal's office, and he's like, dude, what are you doing? Why would you bring an air rifle to school? That makes no sense. 9/11 hasn't even happened yet. You don't even know that this is a big deal. And so I explained to him that I just need a Nerf gun. My teacher asked for it, and it's for this whole, play. And my friend's in there, bawling, right? Because they, brought him too, and he's just, so upset. He's pointing his finger at me, and I'm trying to play it cool, dude, come on, man, it's third grade. As if, I don't know, got a little air rifle, no big deal. I didn't know about it. It's just the same thing. A Nerf gun is an air rifle, if you really think about it, right? So long story short, everything was fine. I didn't get suspended or anything, because again, it was 93, and all the bad stuff hadn't happened yet. And but I still ended up being that guy in the play that had my fingers out. It sucked. Just so. Anyway, it was fine. And I always think about that as such a strange cultural thing, because you totally couldn't get away with that today. I probably wouldn't be here. I'd probably be somewhere else, like a prison or something, and I wouldn't have gone to college, and like everyone would have been like marked me as that guy like who like did that thing, and like we can't talk about it. But anyway, that wasn't the case, and so I'm happy about that. But turns out a sure thing is that's not something you could do today. So that's my story. Thanks.